For this project, you will need sculpting mould, clay, glue, and something to put the mould into. You can use a plastic container or wood container, but I've tried an even cheaper way and used some cardboard from an old box and a plastic bag. Firstly, I put a plastic bag over the cardboard, as a mould would cause the cardboard to go soggy, which I didn't want. Then I got some clay and moulded it into the tunnels I wanted to make. Remember to create a section up the top so that water can be put into it, making the nest moist. Then next I created the sculpting mould with some water and mixed for the required amount of time, then poured it in. After about an hour, you can remove the mould from the container and remove the clay. Then after about 4 days, the mould was completely dry. Now, of course, you can clean the formicarium and maybe paint it a nice colour and make it look a lot better than this, but mine was very low budget. So then, using a drill, I drilled into the side of the mould to create a hole for the tube to fit in. The tube is for connecting your collecting jar to your nest, so make sure that the hole is a tiny bit smaller than the tube, as any gaps will be inconvenient. Also, be careful drilling the hole because sometimes the mould can chip. Next, the screen is needed to be put on, and what can be used is glass or plastic. But for this demonstration, I'm using a plastic screen, basically because I don't have a glass cutter. I think that if you want a more professional look, glass would be ideal. But I found a plastic sheet of a A4 folder, and it would do the trick. So I measured the dimension and cut it out, making sure that the plastic didn't cover the top section. Next, I added some dirt, and that was a bit messy, but I did that so the ants can have that more earthly feeling. Then, using some super glue, I glued the plastic to the mould, and with some pressure it stuck there nicely. Make sure that the plastic is sealed all around the tunnels, as a gap could create an escape route for the little guys. Lastly, insert a tube in the hole on the side. Make sure that the tube fits nice and snug, otherwise you'll have to seal the gaps off somehow. As mine had a gap once I inserted the tube, so I fixed this by cutting a piece of plastic out and poking a hole through it for the tube to fit through, and that worked great. So there it is, my finished product of the ant formicarium.